So, there have been several people who have asked, kind of, what do you expect? What should they expect when they come to counseling? What I tell people is I'll kind of go through the process. So, well, most of the times, people will get referred to me or they will go to my website and they will then contact me via email or a phone call. Then I typically, if I don't get their call at that moment, I'll call them back and then I'll kind of like tell them how I work as a counselor. And first of all, I'll ask them if they have any questions off the top of their head. And if they don't, then I'll just kind of talk about how I work as a counselor. I let them know that this is a team effort, that, they know themselves a lot better than I do. I know a lot of things from books, and plus, I have a lot of experiences that I've gone through in my life. So I kind of marry all three of those things together to kind of assist the client in kind of going from where they are right now to where they hope to be. Some clients come in talking about, wanting to increase their coping skills. Some clients come in talking about wanting to reduce symptoms that they have relative to anxiety or depression, um, and things like that. And so once we talk, some clients, may decide, hey, I want to book a session right then, and then I'll book a session. We'll go over financials as well and kind of agree on a session rate. My rate is pretty flat. I do have a rate for individuals and for couples or families, so those rates are different. But we'll talk about that, and then the client will decide if that's something that they can fit into their budget and their life. Clients don't have to come once a week. That's just up to the client. They can come. I have clients who come once a week. I have clients who come once a month. I have clients who come twice a week, or actually, I do have clients who come twice a week. I have clients who come every other week. I have clients who come every 3 weeks. So it's just based on what that client needs, and the client gets to decide that. I may make a suggestion based on whatever's going on in the client's life, but it's strictly up to the client to decide, uh, how often they're gonna come. What I then do is I'll put them in my system, and so they get a reminder for their appointment if they decide to book an appointment, and then they will come in and they'll fill out paperwork. And so there are some basic informational items that I need to know prior to us sitting down and having that first session. I'll briefly review that once they're done, and then I'll have them come into my office, and then I'll let them know, hey, they can start wherever they want to start. So, I don't, I'm not prescriptive on, tell me about your childhood or tell me about what's going on. I'll just say, hey, you tell me whatever you want to tell me. And then that hopefully gives the client a sense of control over the session. So it's not just about kind of what I'm trying to gather, because eventually I'll get all the information that I need, and it may not be in that initial session. It may be in, it'll be as they go, because sometimes people, I mean, people will, they'll stay on one topic and then I'll find out different stuff as we move through the process of counseling. I typically do give homework based on whatever the client may be dealing with. I do take a strength based approach. So I ask the client what their strengths are, and they will identify those, and then we'll just talk about how they use those in their life. Then we'll also talk about, most people do need or can use, I should say, additional coping skills. And so we'll also talk about that as well. And so that typically will take care of some other paperwork that I need to do when I first meet the client. But then after that, the sessions are pretty uh, standard in terms of come in, we start talking about whatever's going on. Since the last session, I may have some additional questions that I specifically want to ask the client, or the client may have some specific things that they want to talk about as well. And then every so often, what I'll do is I'll kind of go back over the client's initial paperwork with them, and I'll say, hey, this is what you said you came in for. How are you feeling about that particular issue, or is there another issue you want to work on? And again, all this is just based on what the client wants. Not to say that their life is going to be perfect, but there may be, because nobody's life is perfect, but they will not be dealing with maybe something that was pretty significant when they first came in to see me, and now that pretty much has been resolved. So we can decide to, hey, you know what, we don't need to meet anymore. You can just call me when you need to and do a check in and that kind of thing, and that's perfectly okay. So I just wanted to make this video just to kind of give people an idea of what it's like when you come into my office and what typically happens with um, clients that I see. And I hope that it was helpful. Thank you.